The Mauser C96. It was an innovative and iconic pistol that found itself in almost every war in the first half of the 20th century, not to mention in galaxies far, far away. With its iconic look, from the box magazine in front of the trigger, and long barrel, this is one of the easiest firearms to spot on film.
You that good?
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps you've got something to trade after all.
The Mauser C96 has shown up in well over 100 movies and countless video games and TV shows. This was a firearm that was sold in its numerous variants and knockoffs in every corner of the globe. It has made its way into a number of foreign films, particularly dominating the kung fu movie genre.
Hi.
The Mauser C96 was reliable, accurate, and an all-round impressive firearm when it was first manufactured by Mauser, starting in 1896. Interestingly, it was so revolutionary that military interest was slim, with armies doubtful of automatic pistols, preferring their reliable revolvers. This would quickly change, however, with the commercial success of the C96.
How about you get some new sights for this, huh?
Personal semi-automatic firearms in any form were still very much a foreign concept before the 20th century. You can see Sherlock Holmes examining what is supposed to be a prototype in Game of Shadows. Ironically, this is an M712, which wouldn't be available until 1932.
Easy enough to load.
Despite the lack of initial military interest, the C96 would become an incredible commercial success, and over 1.1 million would be produced up until 1937, with countless more unlicensed being manufactured in places like Spain and China. The C96 was a good firearm. Most originals held an impressive 10 rounds, fired an excellent cartridge, the 7.63x25 Mauser, which was the highest velocity commercially available round until the development of the 3.57 Magnum cartridge of 1934. The pistol had an effective firing range of up to 150 meters, though the sights are ambitiously adjustable to 1,000 meters. Due to its commercial and gradual military success, the C96 was used in countless colonial wars and civil wars in nations like China, Ireland, and Russia. It's featured in dozens of old Russian Revolution films. For a recommended Irish war film, watch Liam Neeson and Michael Collins, where the C96 is used during the Eastern Uprising of 1916. In China, the C96 was particularly popular during the warlord era of the 1910s and 20s, due to several embargoes placed on exporting rifles to various Chinese warlords. As such, the C96 became more of a primary weapon for Chinese soldiers of the time. The C96 remains extremely iconic in Chinese cinema today. Here's an interesting flash paper replica of a C96, used to safely fire next to Jackie Chan's head.
Were you aimed at somewhere else?
Despite its German association, the C96 was also highly popular pre-World War I with British officers. Most notably, Winston Churchill used a C96 as a cavalry officer. You can see him sheath his sword and pull a C96 in Young Winston from 1972. Churchill historically spoke highly of the C96, which was of particular good use to him as he had a chronic shoulder injury which prevented him from comfortably swinging his cavalry sword. Churchill used his privately purchased C96 at the Battle of Omdurman and during the Second Boer War.
Here's to not buggering it up.
Another famous officer who used the C96 was Thomas Edward Lawrence, though he primarily used a British revolver as shown in the film. The first major military contract for the C96 would be with the Turkish army in 1897, and it would be adopted by the Italian Navy, Persians, Austrians, and eventually the German army in 1916, which is why it so frequently pops up in World War I cinema.
Well, lads, time for the rat hunt.
By World War I, The German army favored the Luger. However, due to slow production, ordered 150,000 C96s to help further equip the army. The German army also chambered the C96 in the Luger standard 9mm Parabellum. This is where the famous Red 9 variant got its name. German unit armorers branded a large 9 into the grip, which was painted red to prevent accidentally loading the wrong ammunition.
Hang on a second. What's going on here?
Many of these Red 9s were actually converted back to 7.63 Mauser after World War I due to the Versailles Treaty limits placed on German firearms. This included restrictions on barrel length, so C96s sold in Germany also had their barrels cut down to 3.9 inches. This version is known as the M1920 rework.
Stop it, Hess! His plans for Germany are in motion. What if this boy tells our secrets to Berlin?
One of the more interesting variants of the C96 to spawn from World War I would be the trench carbine, fitted with a 40-round magazine, but it was introduced at a time when the C96 was largely overshadowed by the Luger, so its effectiveness was not fully tested.
Oh, merci, thank you. You know, if we could go back in time, there's a few things we'd change. God damn it. But overall, we're pretty happy.
As the C96 was one of the first commercially successful semi-automatic pistols, it had an incredible number of variants. It was highly liked as a carbine, having an interesting stock that doubled as a holster. Even during World War II, the C96 would continue to serve German and partisan forces. Germany was the last nation to officially order C96s from Mauser. The Luftwaffe purchased 7,800 in 1940.
Secondly, all 74 of us, officers and men, all of German nationality, will take part in this operation.
After World War II, the C96 would only see limited use in conflicts. However, it had become an icon in science fiction, with its unique look lending itself to imaginary designs. The most notable, of course, being Han Solo's DL-44 blaster, which was a real C96, incorporating an M3 grease gun's muzzle, parts from a fire extinguisher, and a rifle scope. The C96 further shows up in Buck Rogers, and even the newer Orville series, where it's sporting 3 barrels.
Step into the vehicle.
Okay.
From an ergonomic standpoint, it's understandable how this pistol fell out of favor, compared to say a 1911 or a Luger. This was a heavy pistol. Its handle was shaped like a broom handle, hence the broom handle nickname. But despite it being largely outdated, this was an effective pistol, and at its introduction, it was really a groundbreaking design.
We could go off the rails, you know. Go on!
Alright, I'm Johnny. Thanks for watching this brief on what is one of the most famous and iconic movie pistols around. I could have listed a dozen more movies, so feel free to add more in the comments section below, and we'll see you in the next video.
See, my silencer doesn't